are. Hello. It's a new week. It's a new month. It's a new life. Welcome. Welcome to our Success Mastermind. It is Monday, the 1st of August, 2022. I'm John Lavenia here with you. And I am excited to have a conversation today with you about thinking ahead, which was in part prompted by my friend Catherine, who's here with us right now. Gail's here with us right now. And if you're tuning in on YouTube and you're seeing this live or recorded, go ahead and check out jlsuccessmastermind.com, where you can get in on the conversation and get some coaching and all that. So tonight, it is Monday, so 9 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. We are having our book study group. We are midway through How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. Yeah, let me tell you a little bit of a story about that. I woke up today around 3 a.m. Just that was it. Couldn't sleep anymore, and wanted to sleep a little bit more, but just had thoughts stirring in my mind. And so I could do one of two things. I could either jump on the interwebs and see what everybody else is talking about, which usually isn't empowering, or I could continue to participate in the media fast that I'm currently on, and not do that and jump into this book. And I got into the book and I read a chapter, and then I went back to sleep and slept till 6:30 or whatever, which is my intended time to get up. So interestingly, and this happens, right, guys? This happens. Interestingly, what was written in the book and what I read was exactly what I needed to hear at the time when I had all these other thoughts stirring in my mind. Put me right back to center. So very nice. I got back to sleep and got a couple more hours. Anyway, we're going to be covering a few chapters of that book tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, and yeah, I'm getting a lot of good stuff out of that book. That being said, today I want to talk with you a bit about thinking ahead. So my friend Catherine, just before we went live here, we were talking a little bit about plans for the month and ideas, targets that we'd like to reach, and in terms of business and in her case, in real estate and all this. So there's multiple opportunities in play. But as a lot of people know, and hopefully you know this, is that you can't chase too many rabbits. Okay, so there's an idea that we can be all things to all people or somehow multitask our way to success. Well, typically, what I have found is, sure, you can have multiple projects in play, but you can only focus on one at a time. Kind of like think of it as having multiple roles, right? So here's my role in business A, here's my role in business B, here's my role as a parent, father, husband, etc., right? Member of the community, neighbor, right? So we've got different roles. And within each role, we can, and I think we should have goals. In other words, have a target, have something to, some sort of an ideal that would indicate to us that we're successfully fulfilling that role. Okay. The definition of success that I like best is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So we have a worthy ideal, and we're progressively making that more real. That would indicate to us that we're successful if we're willing to look, right? A lot of times people think, well, I've got to arrive for me to be successful. No, we're making progress. We're progressively realizing, progressively making real that worthy ideal, which may be, an ideal is an ideal. All right, that's pretty lofty, right? Are you ever going to completely fulfill that? Probably not. So targets along the way, achievable things that we can do in each role. Now, that all sounds very nice and mechanically possible, right? We could go ahead and we can write stuff down, and hopefully you've got some goals, some targets, some ideas about, your own values. Okay. And we can make plans, and we can put a schedule together, and we can prioritize, and that's all good left brain stuff, which I like. Right? I default to that all the time. How does it work? How does it not work? Right? How can it break? How can I fix it? So I like the whole, constructive, mechanical, or we could say scientific approach. Okay. But there's another side of everyone's personality, which is the right brain, we could say, right? In terms of like constructive versus creative, right? Left brain versus right brain, that sort of thing. So what about this other side of my personality, that one that is creative, which a lot of times people don't engage with unless their back is right against the wall. Suddenly they have a creative thought, right? Because now they have to, because they've demonstrated so thoroughly that their best thinking, their best left brain thinking, only got them so far, but not further, right? So now we need to get creative. Or we can experience this in an inspired moment, right? It doesn't have to be a moment of emergency or something. So it could be an inspired moment where maybe you just, sat and got quiet for a half hour and like this idea flashed into your mind, and that's really cool, right? Some would say that's like the voice of God speaking to you. Like there's these hunches, there's these intuitions, inspirations, inspired, in spirit, inspired, right? Listen to the words. So that would, I would say, qualify as more of a creative or right brain sort of action. Here's the question: can we do that more deliberately by shifting time and actually thinking ahead? And of course, the answer is yes. This is how we do it, right? So let me ask you this. All right. So if we pick one of the roles that you're engaged in now, building this business A, let's say, and you may have multiple businesses, you may have multiple jobs, or whatever you're doing with your life. Okay, so let's say we're building business A, and your role in this is to build it, right? To get it sold, right? To acquire a certain amount of customers, right? And all this, or to earn a certain amount of money. So if that's the target along the path to you realizing the ideal, scene for yourself in your life as it relates to this particular role. All right, so let me ask you this, thinking ahead, what does it feel like? This is not just an intellectual exercise. This is not just left brain. So what does it feel like now that you've hit that target? That may sound like a mundane question, which we've asked many times, but we're going to ask it again. How does it feel? Remember, in the whole, I guess, spectrum of living this, right? There's being, doing, and having, right? So like Goethe said, you must be something before you can do something. Okay. And then you do something to have something. So it's be, do, and have. It's all three. Okay. So how do we identify who we're being? Well, you can ask yourself, well, how do I feel? Right. So let's say you hit that goal. Let's say you earned the money, you accomplished the, whatever the objective was. Great. How does that feel? Well, I feel happy, grateful, confident, right? Empowered, accomplished. I don't know, pick whatever words are most powerful for you, right? And so that's how, through your visualization, through your creative faculty, that's how you envision yourself feeling once you've accomplished the whatever the reward, whatever the attainment is. Okay, but that's out in the future, though. Well, wait a second here. So we're thinking ahead. So is that not real now? Let me ask you: if you had a situation where, let's say, shock. Right. So there was some impactful event that you thought, that you assumed, or somebody told you happened, and you were overcome with a wave of emotion. And then 30 seconds or 3 minutes or an hour later, you found out, oh, that was false data, right? That didn't really happen. Relief. Okay. So here's the question: in present time, when the data was inbound, okay, and you were receiving it in that present time, were the emotions real in present time? Yes. That's the only time you can feel the emotion, is present time. So if you can assume that when thinking ahead, and you could say, well, this is how I will feel. Okay, great. So then what do you have to do in present time to feel those feelings now? Let's use the examples I was just talking about: happiness, gratitude, empowerment, confidence, enthusiasm, accomplishment, right? If that qualifies as an emotion for you. I like the word, so that's cool. Certainty, right? Well, Well, just me thinking about these things of good report, as Paul wrote in the Bible, right? Think on these things of good report. Just by me thinking about those things and exercising my dominion over my own mental faculty of will, right? My dominion over my own thinkingness, right? Well, which is an action. That's an action, right? We have control of our actions, right? Nobody held a gun to your head and said, think negative thoughts, or do that unresourceful action, or piss away your time in diversions, right? Nobody forced you to do that, right? So we have dominion over our actions, including the action of thought, the mental activity of thought. In fact, if there was one thing that we damn well better exercise dominion over, it's that. So here I am, accepting my responsibility for that and demonstrating that by choosing the right thoughts, those which produce the emotions of however you describe success and enthusiasm and inspiration. Okay, so by thinking ahead and then identifying what those emotions are, and then bringing them into present time and having reminders, right? Whether it's a written mission statement, which is very good, which again is kind of a left brain thing to do. Now we're going to construct, in words, and we're going to think analytically about this. Okay, fine. But it came from the right brain creative vision of where you're going. Now, isn't it true, and it is, that all top producers, top achievers, hero, athletes, mavens of business and commerce, right? They all are visualizers. They all have considerations about the future, right? They have what we could say is a vision or a postulate of, these are the outcomes which I'm basing my present time activities on. In other words, they have a goal. And like Henry Ford said, obstacles are those frightful things we see when we take our eyes off our goals. Well, if we're lacking in that way, if we either don't have goals defined for ourselves or haven't, or we've neglected them, right? In other words, you didn't read your own goal card, well, you get to see obstacles because you took your eyes off the goals. If you knew, I had this, I brought this question up to a client just the other day. They were looking at how they could play a bigger game, and it would require some capital. Okay, so there's no free games. Okay, so to play this game, there's money, and so they had an idea where they wanted to go. And they had also ideas about the obstacles, one of which being like a money barrier. And so what I did was I presented to them in their own words their goal achieved now. All right. So if this was something that we could achieve right now, like if I rolled up to your house and presented you with your, the achievement of your goal, and said, go find, I'll just throw out some money, $10,000. Go find $10,000 right now, and you get all this today. What would you do? Oh, well, then I would do this. I could do that. I could figure that out, right? So suddenly, just because we brought what should be the consideration of a guaranteed future outcome, just because we brought that into present time, like that's a today opportunity. Well, now suddenly we're getting creative about how to fund that. But if it's all the way out here, a year later or 5 years from now, or, in some cases, even 90 days, right? Where we lack vision. What did Solomon say? Where there is no vision, the people perish, right? So if that's not real, if that's just some hope or something, well, how creative am I really going to get? This is what I mean by thinking ahead, is taking these future possibilities and making them as real as possible in present time. Being precedes doing. So can we be that now? The answer is yes. The bad news is that it's work. Thinking is the hardest work there is, especially in the face of circumstances, conditions in present time which are what? They are the effects of the thinking, our best thinking from yesterday, right? So present time conditions are fruits of the past. So they don't even qualify as present time considerations, right? They're past considerations. So moving forward, right? And if we were to allocate a certain amount of, attention or brain power or whatever into where we want to put that, right? We got past, present, and future. So when do I want, or how much of my attention do I want to dedicate on the past, which includes present circumstances? Proctor talked about this in the You Were Born Rich book. If you guys were in our book study group, you recall that. So even with attention on present time circumstances, that's dwelling in the past. That's how he qualified it. Okay, so how much of your attention would you like to spend every day on the past? Go ahead and make that decision. All right. And your numbers are probably coming in low because left brain, you're thinking, oh, well, I mean, that would be stupid. Let me put 80% on that. Come on. I know not to do that. Okay, good. So intellectually, you know not to do that. Congratulations. That's great. All right. How much of your attention would you like to allocate to the future? And so this one, well, hold on. All action happens in the present. Yes, it does. But the present based on what? Again, all top producers are visualizers, right? So let's say that we allotted ourselves 30%. And how do you quantify this? It's tough, okay? But let's say we allotted ourselves 30% on the past, okay? Which is probably generous. Now, if we really got real with ourselves, okay, ourselves as like a human race, right? And we were able to see what we're actually doing, it's a lot more than 30%. All right, so that leaves 70% over here in present and future, 30% in the past. I would say a lot of people got those reversed, and I'm being generous, I think. Okay, so 70%, bemoaning circumstances and past failures. And that's probably a higher number. So we got 70% left over here. I don't know, what if we said 35, future, and then focused action in present time? Future, focused action in present time. And what if we oscillated between those two? We thought ahead, and then we got emotionally involved with that vision, and then we got really focused in present time. And what if we did that half and half? So here's the 30% over here. Here's 35. Maybe this past thing diminishes. We're down to 20%. Oh, now we got 40. That sounds like a workable plan to me. Now, how do you quantify that? You can get really conscious of your own consciousness. You can see, and this is the barometer. How am I feeling right now? Because again, that could reveal like who am I being in present time? Who am I being? If it's those words I said before, happy, grateful, enthusiastic, confident, right? I'm thinking with the end in mind. I'm acting with focus in present time based on my postulated future. Yeah. Or how do I feel right now? Oh, yeah, I'm kind of going sideways over here. Anxious, upset, right? Apathetic, angry, right? Who am I being right now? The guy who's getting emotionally involved in the past, which once again includes present time circumstances and conditions, which are the fruits of the past. I look at people who have who occur to me as having a great freedom of reach and self-expression, right? People who are very prolific in their, let's say, for example, social media, okay, and without a whole lot of thought or consideration about, what will they think, right? Oh my goodness, I might get criticized or something. They just publish and publish and publish and publish. In fact, let me say this. I just went through, as you guys know, I just started a TikTok channel. Oh my goodness, I'm on TikTok. I just went through a TikTok training course. and I've got another one to go through. But this one was very matter of fact. Tip here, tip. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. Here's like some best practices kind of stuff. Kind of light. It was an entry level kind of a free training. So then you can go buy the course and spend money. So which I may or may not do, depending on the value that I experienced thus far. But one of the things that was talked about in this brief, free program was that a lot of people assume that if they make mistakes now, so at the outset, I am starting my channel and I need to nail it right from the beginning. And if I screw this up, then the algorithm's going to crush me and I'm going to get shadow banned and blah, 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 because that's the reality on some other platforms, right? Is that you do a few bad posts and you go down and down and down, and next thing you know, nobody can find you, right? Probably like this YouTube channel that we're on right now. I mean, this is not something I've promoted, nor am I looking to grow it as like some big popular thing. I mean, what are we talking about here, right? This isn't teeny bopper dance videos and stuff. This is philosophy and how to live a purposeful life. I mean, it's the minority of people who are interested in that sort of thing, at least in my assessment. And so in that way, I'm by not promoting or by not doing, hot, sizzly little catchy videos, right? I'm not going up in the algorithm, and that, Google, YouTube, whatever, will make decisions about the worth of this channel as it relates to who they should show it to. That's not the case with TikTok. According to the trainer, he's like, you could publish 100 pieces of shit and then have one video go viral. And it's like a new day. It's totally forgiven. What if you approached life like that? To forgive, to abandon, to forsake all your errors up to this point, and to just get on with it, because all we see is the future. Like Napoleon said, I see only my objective. The obstacles must give way. I see only my objective. You can use this, right? This creative faculty of yours, you can use this for better or worse. Right? You can create, you can destroy, you can better yourself, you can destroy yourself, right? But it's there. And I think the first step is to accept that dominion, right? That causation, that control that you already have, and that I think the majority of people squander and have become largely unaware of. So back to your life. Here's what you're intending to occur. Here's what you're intending to accomplish. Great. And you may or may not know how. In fact, you probably don't, right? Because nobody knows how to reach a goal until they've reached it. But you can conjure up the emotional state of what it's like having accomplished it. Great. Be that now. And when I say be that, I mean assume that emotional posture now, in present time, which is the only time you can act. Right? What do we have control of? We have control of our thoughts and our actions. So if we do that, well, as James Allen said, man cannot choose his circumstances, but he can choose his thoughts. And therefore, surely, but indirectly, change his circumstances. So we've got to get on with it. Yesterday's gone. And Ingrid's here. Now that I'm done with my lecture portion of our presentation, I'm going to go ahead and stop talking. I'm sure Ingrid has no idea what we were just talking about. But it's good to see your happy, smiling face, my friend, as well as Catherine, Daisy, Gail's here, Mandy, Virginia. All right, guys. So thinking ahead and feeling those feelings now, using your creative faculty, your right brain, and balancing that with the left brain stuff, which is what I typically default to. Catherine, how does it feel now that you've got, the house deal and the advancement in the business and multiple roles? Okay, you spend a little time postulating each of those outcomes. right? Daisy, now that you have accomplished, that which is your next target, right? How does that feel? Since Ingrid popped up here, I'll mention that, here's an example of someone who had ideas for a better home and lifestyle for herself and her son, right? And that materialized, right? But it wouldn't have had she not, in present time, pursued the very real, the reality of it. Like, she knew where the property was, what she was willing to pay, right? So that is not just a hope, right? That was made real. Remember, progressively realizing a worthy ideal. Has progress been made? Oh yeah, progress has been made. Any thoughts on this from anybody? Come on down. We've got a light crowd here today. So let's see. Oh, once again, we do have 9 p.m. Eastern, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, Dale Carnegie, chapters, I think 12 through something. I don't know. I lost count of the chapters. They got lots of little chapters in this book. We'll read like 5 chapters anyway. Any thoughts? Going once?
Hey,
going twice?
morning.
Virginia. Hey, Virginia.
Actually, I'm in Florida, so it's good afternoon.
You're in Florida.
I'm in Orlando. Yeah, I go back
goodness.
tomorrow.
How's the weather in Orlando?
Horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I don't live here anymore. I hope you get better weather on the coast because you get some tropical sea breezes. We just get it. Orlando gets it, coming in from the Atlantic, coming in from the Gulf, and it's just beautiful. So it is the city, beautiful, but oh my God, the humidity level.
Yeah, 92 and humid here.
Yeah. So anyway, just discussing with my sister today, SMART goals. So just bringing back that topic, and never remember what the A is for.
Achievable.
Achievable. I thought that was the R for realistic.
R is for relevant.
Relevant. That's why I always get those confused. SMART, measurable, achievable, relevant, and your time frame.
A lot of people have them confused, including so-called motivational speakers. So, yeah.
Yeah. So we're just discussing those this morning, and timeline of things that she wants to get done and changed. And I was just asking her, well, what's your goal for that? Because without a goal, it's just a wish. You need to look at the big picture and then start breaking it down into your little minute things. And so, so this is a very relevant topic that you're discussing today. Again, focusing on where we need to be and how we need to get there. And it's amazing. Time goes by, whether you're doing anything or not. Time is going to still going by. And so my goal was a 3-year goal to be where I wanted to be. And I'm like, okay, actually I've got like a year and a half left. I need to ramp this up a little bit.
Right.
And just really be allocating the time in my beautiful book that we all use,
Oh, look at that. Snappy looking book. Well, Virginia,
Shannon,
everything. So you need to ramp it up. You're saying, isn't it true that if you had to get something done, you would get it done, right? If it was like a have to, right? So work expands to fill the time allowed for it. Parkinson's law, right? So what if we just hit the reset button now? Great news. It's not going to take you as long, right? It's only a year and a half. Great. Start. That's it. Never mind the past.
Absolutely. Just keep hitting that restart button. Well, that's good.
I've had to do that so many times. Yeah.
That's true.
And I've had to get real with myself, Virginia, and everyone, right? I've had to get real with myself. Emerson said, of what use to make heroic vows of amendment if the same old lawbreaker is to keep them? So I had to transform, right? It's not like, all right, well, let me try again. No. Stop. Right? Who's showing up here? Who's doing this job? Yeah. So I had to make some decisions.
Exactly.
Awesome. So good to see you back in Florida. Hooray for you. How long are you going to be here?
Oh, I've been here. It'll be 12 days total. I go home tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. So
good times. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for summer to end.
To the coolness of my basement, which is always, like 10 degrees cooler than the rest of the world. So my blood is thin. I don't have this or maybe my blood is thick, I guess. I don't have the thin blood I used to have when I used to live in Florida. This is just way too much humidity.
Yeah. Yeah. Good times. All right. Glad you're here, my friend.
Thanks.
All right. Anybody else got some thoughts on this today? All right, cool. Then, hey, let's get together at 9 p.m. Eastern. Let's go through a few chapters of How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, Dale Carnegie. And I will see you guys there. In the meantime, make it a great day. You really do deserve it, and know that you do. And let's